Ninja and Flannel. Today we've got a very nice PCC, and this is the Angstadt Arms MDP-9 Gen 2. So the basic overview, and I'll put some of those fine details like weight, length, and boring stuff up in the corner here so you can read those or screenshot them if you want to save them. But I'll go over the more practical aspects. So you got a side charging, which is non-reciprocating, very important, so you can kind of use it as a gas pedal when you're shooting, which I love. You've got a side charging 9mm with a 5-inch barrel. Your top rail is completely there from back to front, and there's a full monolithic upper, which I really like. You also have a 1913 pick rail in the rear for your brace and or stock if you're going to SBR. This is in fact using Glock mags, which is very nice. A little side note, I am using these KCI Glock mags and I love them. They got a nice steel feed lip there. Very high quality. I'm a huge fan of those. I've been kind of rocking those on a couple different platforms lately. Back to this, as well as the pick rails, you've also got M-locks, one in each side and then 1.5 in the bottom. But then you've also got your QDs in each side and then one in the rear. So as far as slings go, you're pretty much set up right off the bat, and you don't have to worry about putting it on your stock or adding anything for that. A really nice feature is that it actually uses an AR-15 style trigger, safety, rear grip, as well as your bolt catch on this side, which makes it very convenient for finding parts. You can throw in your favorite Geisley, LaRue, Rise, whatever trigger you happen to use on other guns, you can throw right into this and you're good to go. A little note to keep in mind with the replacement triggers is that they're not all compatible, but most are. So you're gonna wanna check out their website to see if what you have or what you're looking at will fit or not. Just in case you're wondering, the suppressor I'm using is a JK Armament PCX, and I do really like this can. It's kind of rated for a 5.56, 300 blackout, 7.6239, but mainly is for a 9mm, and I use it on a lot of PCCs, and I've been very happy with it. I don't really care for the segments. I usually keep it in full length so I get the best suppression out of it, but pretty decent can and pretty affordable. Now, some of the deeper details you'll see is that this is a true roller delay PCC. Now, not to bash other ones like the Strybog, Matador Arms, and the Kuna, but their roller delay system is achieved outside your bolt face, kind of an upper portion of your bolt carrier. And that is fine, and they do work extremely well, but there are some benefits that come with using a true system like this. Now, this is gonna basically directly match the function, not exactly the same form or same bolt by any means, but it's going to give the same exact function of an MP5 roller delay system, which are your two rollers built directly into the sides of your bolt face. So it gives you a much better recoil impulse and better delay, in my opinion, from what I've shot back and forth. I do think it shoots much better than a true MP5, which is going to offend some people, but I don't care that much. We'll pop this apart real quick before we start showing some of the shooting clips and kind of talking about recoil impulse a little closer, because that is worth seeing. So to come apart, it takes 2 pins just like an AR, pulls in half. Right here you have a little nipple, you push it in and pull down, and basically your BCG and everything and your spring all come out as one unit. Now if you look here, it's pretty cool. You've kind of got your rollers right in the side up there. Let me put this down. Right in the side up here, and they basically pop out when they go into your barrel interface there. And it's a pretty simple bolt, and as you can see, they just expand as this plunger goes through and pushes them out. Pretty cool design. I feel like they did a really good job, and I will say this is a much higher performing PCC than I initially thought it would be. I've quite honestly been pretty blown away by it. There are some cons that come with the pros that we will get into a little later on. Actually, while this is still apart, which, well, I already put it back together. While this is apart, I will say a lot of times with Glock mag driven PCCs, an issue you can have is how you achieve your bolt lock into the rear in your last round. They have a really nice system here with this plate that hooks over. It grabs that front left corner of your bolt, which then activates your bolt catch from the AR. So it's a pretty cool linkage system. I found it to be very reliable so far, and I don't have any issues with the bolt locking back, which can be occasionally an issue with different PCCs. 2 important notes before we move on. First is make sure you join the Second Amendment Foundation. This is not a paid ad by any means. They do a lot of work to help protect our Second Amendment rights and gain some back, and they support us a lot, so I believe that we should support them. I put a link in the description for their website, and make sure you check them out. The other one is this combat flannel I'm wearing right here. It's basically a normal combat shirt with some special modifications that I'll make myself. Hopefully be very high quality by the time the final product comes out. It'll be a little different than the one I'm wearing, but this is the basic concept, is that you get your combat shirt in a plaid pattern, which is very nice for ROs or competitions and such. So make sure you check that out in the link through my website in the description and sign up for the email list, because email list subscribers will be the first people to know when this is finally available. Now, recoil. Recoil is pretty impressive. I really thought it was going to be a lot like an MP-5 or a Strybog or a Matador, but it actually seems to have one of the best recoils of any of them. It doesn't win in every category for each of these PCCs that I review, but as far as recoil goes, this is kind of like an airsoft gun. It is highly impressive what they achieved. The way it's balanced and with your bolt and everything, it shoots really nice. Now I do have this big honking can on the front, and I didn't really shoot that much without the can because I'm not a savage. But with the can and everything, it shoots so incredibly smooth, highly impressive. Recoil is 100% just 10 out of 10. Cannot be beat there. It's amazing. Reliability. So reliability, I have really just not had any issues. I haven't beat it up too much, I've gotten to the range enough with it to get a good feel for how it operates. And so far it's run some cheap Blazer ammo that was 115 grain, some subsonic 147 grain from Magtech, I believe, and they were kind of flat nose-ish. Ran the subsonics with no problem. And then I ran some Balam ammo from Global Ordnance, which is very nice. That is something that's worth trying out. Very good stuff. And it's just eaten everything so far. So as far as reliability goes, it seems to be eating stuff pretty good. I still need to do some hollow point testing. I haven't done that yet. And in some PCCs, you will run into issues with that. That's worth looking into. I just haven't got a chance to actually run any variation of hollow points through it. But as far as reliability goes, it's been very good so far. I imagine that much like an MP-5, these rollers will get pretty gunked up over time. But the MP-5s, although they do run dirty, do run pretty well. There's never too much to say for accuracy for PCCs. I do plan in the near future we're going to have a big PCC video comparing all of these ones that I often shoot, and I'm planning to make them a little bit goofy. I'll probably throw, where's that scope at? I'll probably throw a scope like this on here and bench it up real good and really do some testing to see how it is at 100 yards and how they group, which is ridiculous for a PCC, but it's nice to know what the capabilities are. But for normal PCC applications, I don't see any problems with this one. I basically hit anything I want to hit with it with no problem whatsoever. Very happy with it. Modularity and compatibility is very interesting because in your lower half, you've got your trigger, which is just mil-spec AR triggers. You can do whatever the heck you want. Then you've got, it looks like a Radian ambidextrous safety here. So that's really nice. You can pick any AR style you want as well as your grip. Now moving forward, because of your different bolt interface, it's not just an AR9, which if it was just an AR9, I wouldn't care about it. But because of that, you're going to have to get barrels more right from them. You're not going to be able to just buy any AR9 barrel across the internet. So you're going to be locked in with a lot of different things on here with Angstadt, which I don't see being a problem because they're a very cool company. But that's something to keep in mind, that you're not going to have that same modular systems of some of the things like an AR9 that you'll have. Now, that being said, none of the PCCs I shoot, any of the good ones, are like that. So not really even a con, but worth noting. One con you will have with this is that's a little more cost prohibitive compared to other PCCs. I mean, a lot of times you do get what you pay for, but this is a bit more than the Strybog, Kuna, CZ Scorpion, the X-Tar, Matador Arms. It is one of the more expensive ones. Now, it's not near as bad as like a BNT, more on par with a Sholo MFG, what's that thing called? The Blackjack. It's more in line with that pricing. But that's something to think about, is that it's not going to be a super cheap endeavor, but it won't be the worst. Now, I hope you enjoyed the video, but keep in mind that there's going to be a much larger video coming soon of a lot of these different PCCs that I've been shooting, and I'm going to do a lot of comparisons across them. On the list so far, we have the Angstadt Arms MDP-9 that you just saw. We also will have the X-Star EP-9, which is pretty dang exciting, probably the most affordable on the list. After that, we'll have the Springfield Kuna, which is not my favorite for a lot of reasons, but we'll get to that. We'll also have the Matador Arms MDP-9 roller delay. This one is a lot of fun. I really like this one. And then we will also have my trusty old Strybog SP9A3S roller delay. And this one has this particular one in front of me has about 10,000 rounds through it. So that'll be on the video as well. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna really personally enjoy just comparing them all back and forth. So stay tuned, that'll be coming soon. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Farewell.